You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the Frisco Fighters indoor football player, Martez Carter. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to play professional football?
Um, at first it was just kind of like a hobby. All of my friends played football when we was young. That was in the era where we didn't have cellular devices, no technology, so we would all just go out in the neighborhood. And basketball and football was just one of those things that we did on a daily basis. And as time progressed, and I was going to middle school and high school, I was good at it. So I just kind of like dove into it a little bit and chose that as a career. My first career choice was basketball, though. I've been a basketball player my whole life. I played football for a little bit, but I wasn't that great. I was athletic, though, but I just wasn't that great. So when I figured out basketball wouldn't pay the bills, I kind of just converted to football, and the rest is history, man.
Of course, what was your experience like going to college and going to Grambleton to play football?
My experience at Grambling, man, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I walked on to Wally College my first year and played basketball. My coach ended up leaving, and then I went back home, which is in Louisiana, and I walked on to Grambling to play cornerback. Worst cornerback you ever seen in your life. I'm terrible on defense, but they converted me to offense, and man, that's when Mr. Excitement was born.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on that college football jersey and representing Grambleton?
It's a different feeling, you know. It's like getting in a new car you just got off the lot, and it got that new car smell, and it got it for quite some time. That's the time. That's how I feel every time. I feel like a transformer when I put on my shoulder pads and my jersey. It's like I'm a complete different person. So every time I got the opportunity to suit up, I made the best of it for real.
While in college, what were some of your biggest football accomplishments?
Um, I won 4 SWAC titles. I won 3 SWAC titles and 1 national title. So I should have 4 rings, but they only gave me 3. But with that being said, man, I think my biggest accomplishment is every level I've been on, I've won a championship ring. Pee Wee League, middle school, high school, college, and professionally. I have a ring for each division I've ever been in.
Of course, what was that feeling like competing in your national championship in college?
It was surreal, man. You got to understand, I was playing in front of 68,000 people. I went to Grambling where we're normally 3,000, 5,000. I'm playing in front of 68,000 people, man, and I was the MVP of that game. So I don't know. It's a feeling that you can't describe. It's something that you just have to experience.
Of course, after college, what was that like going into the NFL and going undrafted to the Washington Redskins?
For me, it was a big deal. Doug Williams was the GM at the time, and he used to be Grambling's head coach. So to get the opportunity to play for a legend, the first black quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl, he was the head coach at Grambling, and now he's my general manager at the Redskins. I feel like I had like a guardian angel over me. So that whole process was just something that I had to just take in day by day and enjoy
Of
it.
course, what was that feeling like for you getting to put on that first NFL football jersey?
I was lit. I ain't even gonna cap. I was so lit. I was super lit. Um, actually getting to play, but felt better. But just putting on that uniform again, I just transformed into a different person.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like putting on that Redskins jersey, knowing that all of your hard work paid off and you made it to the NFL?
I cried. I called my mama and I FaceTimed her and I showed her me in my uniform before we went out for pregame. And I had a tear roll down my eye because one, I went to Grambling State. HBCUs don't get the love that they deserve. Shout out to Deion Sanders for actually coming and shedding the light that we needed in order for these NFL programs to see that we can actually ball on the highest level. So yeah, man, that was big for us as a community.
Of course, while as a Washington Redskin, what were some of your favorite memories and moments?
Again, just getting to play in front of Doug Williams and getting to play with some of my college rivals. Danny Williams that went to Southern University, he was on my team. I had Cam that I grew up with that went to Alabama. He played receiver. It was just a multitude of things that played into me playing for the Redskins. It made me feel like I was at home still because I had so many guys that I had knew from, past football games.
How was that transition like going from the NFL to the CFL and coming to Hamilton?
It's really different. Players are moving before the ball snaps. You got guys in motion. The pace is different. The rules are different. Uh, I enjoyed that whole process. You know what I'm saying? It was super, super cold in Canada, but just that whole process in itself, I was able to learn, and it helps me be a better veteran in the football world today.
While at Hamilton Tire Cats in the CFL, what were some of your biggest accomplishments?
I really wasn't there long enough to have like a big impact. For me, it was more of the experience. Just going to a different league which has a different culture. So for me, it was just basically how can I take this and adapt it to my regular game because I knew I wasn't going to be there long. So I was just trying to get what I could and bring back with me over here.
Of course, after your CFL time, what was that experience like going to the XFL and going to the Los Angeles Wildcats?
The LA Wildcats was big for me. Being able to get drafted 56 overall was surreal. I didn't get drafted to the NFL, and just hearing my name get called and being plastered all over the internet was it was a feeling that I feel like I deserved. And with the XFL draft, it just it bailed me out. I felt like I was missing out on something, so I feel like all aspects of the games was covered whenever I got drafted.
Of course, after getting drafted into the XFL to the Los Angeles Wildcats, what was that feeling like when you became a Wildcats for the first time?
I felt invincible. That's where I got the nickname Meatball from when I played in the XFL. I made an impact on the XFL that I don't think a lot of people would make. I played one game, I had 3 touchdowns, and I just had a day. I had a day. That my first game I played against DC, I just had a day, and it's just a lot of people that don't come out and have those type of days.
While as a Wildcats, what were some of your favorite memories and moments playing in the XFL?
My first game, and I got the chance to play on my birthday, and I had a good game my birthday. And after that, we celebrated like no other. You know, being able to play on national television isn't something to take lightly. People see you, they recognize you, and then that's when you go and realize, and you look in the mirror and say, "Man, my hard work does not go unnoticed."
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like getting recognized and playing on national television?
It's just a look, mama, we made it moment. I don't know if you're familiar with that phrase, but that's when you really sit back and say, "Look, mama, we made it." That's really it, man. I'm telling you.
Of course, after your time in the XFL, what was that transition like going to the indoor football?
Really different. Less guys on the field, less room to work with. And of course, you got guys moving before the snap count. So it was something to adjust with. My first year, I only like recorded like one touchdown, maybe one or three touchdowns. And then my next year, I had a better year because I got an opportunity to adjust to it after that first year. But the adjustment was really big. It's only 50 yards of football, and the field is not that wide. So it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I feel like I overcame it.
What were some of the things that you took over with your time in the NFL, XFL, and even CFL to help you into the indoor football?
Patience, letting the game come to me, playing with guys who are older than me, which are veterans. I got the opportunity to get the game that nobody was willing to give me when I was younger. You know, I'm an old veteran now. I'm considered an old veteran, but just the game that they gave me, to let the game come to me and don't force it, it helped me to get take what they give me. You know, not put too much on myself or my game or on my back to try to help my team out. So I just kind of let the game come to me, and the rest is it's just how the game goes.
Coming into our indoor football, what was that experience like first going to Massachusetts Pirates and playing for them?
Um, it was a big jump from Louisiana to Boston. It was a big jump, but once I got there and I got to meet the fans, once I got to meet all the supporters, and once I got to meet all the sponsors, they welcomed me with open arms, you know, and that's what it was all about. Just me getting there, being able to make an impact in the community as well as on the field. I feel like I did that to the best of my ability. So I was excited about that.
While a part of the Pirates, what were some of your accomplishments while as a Pirate?
Winning the national championship. You know, I won the ring with the Pirates. I got a nice big gold ring. And yeah, that's probably one of the most proudest moments that I got to experience while with the Pirates.
How was that experience like getting to compete for the indoor football national championship?
It's big. It's really a big deal. You know, it's like the IFL Super Bowl, and it's really a big deal. They take care of you all weekend, and you get to experience a multitude of things. You know that you wouldn't normally get on a regular game weekend. So, I was excited to get to experience that, and I just used the opportunity to the best of my ability to, because who knows if I'm gonna ever get back there again.
What was that feeling like getting to win that Super Bowl in the IFL and getting to put on that Super Bowl ring for the IFL?
I tell you what, after the game, we took that big old trophy, which was a big old cup. We poured Hennessy in it and took shots. So you tell me,
Of course,
yeah,
after
you,
that moment,
yeah,
what was
yeah.
that feeling like putting on that ring, knowing that all of your hard work paid off?
Honestly, man, I had that feeling before, but it was a different feeling this time because I had never had a professional ring before. So yeah, man, it was different than me putting on my other three college rings.
Of course, for you, what was that transition like going from Massachusetts to Frisco?
I ended up moving to Dallas, so I was here for quite some time. I went to a couple of games, especially when the Pirates came to play Frisco. Going from one team and then going to another team, it's never a big deal. Some guys welcome you with open arms, some guys don't because you're there to potentially take their jobs. But for me, again, I'm Meatball, aka Ipri extra marinara sauce. So I mean, like I said, they welcome me with open arms, man, and the transition was real smooth. I'm at home. Frisco is in my backyard, so man, it was pretty smooth transition.
Coming to the Frisco Fighters, what was that feeling like putting on that powder blue jersey?
I love that powder blue jersey. I'm low key kind of hurt. I don't think we got the powder blue this year, or we don't have the navy. One of the two. But I think I got my first touchdown in that powder blue. So those are one of my favorite jerseys.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments so far with the Frisco Fighters?
I love everything about Frisco Fighters as a football organization, but the relationships that I build with the players who are now someone I can call my brothers. So I feel like that's one of the things that I like cherish the most, that I have brothers for life as well as teammates for life.
How is that feeling like getting to suit up in the indoor football league versus in your previous times in the NFL, CFL, and XFL?
Uh, I think knowing that even if I got injured, I wouldn't get sent home. When I played in the NFL, after I got injured, my first thought was to pack the moment I got back to my hotel. When I faced the injury in the IFL, it was like I know I'll be here after my injury. So I just didn't get down on myself. So that's the difference, the politics in that. So I just that's it, bro. It was just the politics for me that I knew I would still have a job even though I was out of commission.
What is it like getting to live out your dream of being a professional football player?
It's surreal. It's surreal. I'm a sixth grade English teacher, and my students have the luxury of getting taught by a professional football player, which it kind of motivates them. Like my English teacher is a professional football player, so that's a surreal thing too as well.
Of course, what is that balance like being a teacher and also being a professional football player?
It's pretty smooth right now while we're out season. I'm pretty sure like once we get in season, it'll be a little tougher. But like as of right now, it's pretty smooth.
What is some of the biggest difference between indoor football versus NFL, CFL, and XFL?
I think the most common ones are guys are in motion. And then in the NFL, you can't be running downhill like that, as well as it's 8 players on the field in the IFL. As to the NFL, it's 11.
Of course, as a running back, how is that like playing in the indoor football?
It's tougher for us. You got some guys that they are not counted for in the blocking scheme, so they're normally like wide open and have free range to make any type of plays that they want. So being a running back, you have to be extra smart in the IFL because it's just not as easy as having so many guys to account for how many guys that want to stop you. So yeah,
What does your game day routine and rituals look like?
my game day routine is to get to the stadium on time, do my little walkthrough for my pictures so I can post them on Instagram, and then when I put my headphones on, it's all Adele. My pregame songs are Adele.
What is that like getting to compete against teams like Bay Area Panthers and Green Bay Blizzards?
I love those games. Green Bay have always been slept on, but they give guys a run for their money week in and week out. I see them getting better in the future. Um, Bay Area, it's always a good game between us because they have some very great athletes over there and a coaching staff that prepares them well. So I love a good game. I don't like going into games knowing it's going to be a blowout because 9 times out of 10 they'll pull me out and I won't get no more playing time.
What does it mean to you to be an indoor football player?
It means that no matter what the circumstances are, even if you're not in the NFL, you know, there are second chances. Like I'm still living out my dream playing professional football. It's just indoor. So regardless of you playing in the NFL, XFL, USF, USFL, CFL, IFL, it's professional football. You still get seen and you still get to live out your glory days. I take this with me everywhere. I keep this with me. And yeah, it's just I'm still a professional football player. And that means a lot.
Who are some of the people in the football community that you look up to?
I don't really look up to nobody in the football community. I consider myself a vet. Some guys that I can vibe with though are right now, Jolly Jordan, um, Germ the Worm, TJ. It's a multitude of guys that I hang out with right now because of my location. If I was somewhere else, the names would probably be different. But yeah,
Of course, what is that feeling like getting to play with some of your teammates like TJ and Jolly?
man, it's unbelievable. I feel like TJ is my Lamar Jackson. Jolly and Germ the Worm, those guys are good receivers, and it makes my job a little easier.
Of course, what are some of your memories and moments as a Frisco fighter?
Um, my first 3 games with the Frisco Fighters, after my first 3 games, I was the leading rusher in the league, and it was already week 6. So guys had played 5 games prior to me getting there. So when I got there after my first 3 games, I was the number 1 rusher in the league.
What is it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
Like I was saying earlier, man, it's really a surreal feeling because one, you put in all this work in the off season to showcase your talent, and for people to cling on to you as one of their favorite players, and for them to actually notice the hard work you put in because you're making plays out there, and for them to come up to me after the game and call me meatball and want to interact with me, man, it's a feeling that you look for. We're not in the game to specifically, get that notoriety. We're in the game to make plays and to fulfill our dream. So for those guys to still want my autograph, man, it makes my heart smile.
As a professional football player, what is that feeling like getting to see them represent you and wearing your jersey?
Um, Again, man, it just goes back to that hard work and dedication that you put in the off season. Once you get to explode into that first game and have a successful season, it's a feeling like no other, really.
Throughout your career, what have been some of your favorite memories and moments?
I think all my championships, I think it's just all my championships because at the end, all that hard work that we put in, all those early mornings, those late nights, it pays off. It pays off, and that's what you're competing for. That feeling at the end to know that you are the greatest in your league, like you are the top dog, and I love being the top dog.
What advice would you give those players out there that are looking to play in college football?
Take that leap of faith. Coming out of high school, I didn't have any scholarships. I was a walk-on, and I earned a scholarship. So even though that you don't have the offers you want, the school you want, the opportunity you want, I still think that you guys should take that leap of faith and walk on.
What advice would you give those college football players out there that are looking to go play either in the NFL, XFL, CFL, or even indoor football?
Make the sacrifice. Guys have to make the sacrifice. Sometimes it's going to be some parties that you can't attend because you need to work on your craft. There's going to be some events that you can't attend because you need to work on your craft. You're going to miss some things. So you have to make that sacrifice. So if you're not willing to make that sacrifice, I don't think you should expect to make it to the highest level of football.
What advice would you give players like yourself that have played in the CFL or NFL that are transitioning into a new league like indoor football?
Go in with an open mind. It's going to be different. You can't run outdoor routes in arena football. So just be willing to adjust, and just be open-minded.
What advice would you give those future indoor football players out there looking to play?
Again, just go in it with the mind that I might not be playing where I want to play. It's some guys that play receiver but better at DB because you can't get beat over the top, or you're better at playing DB, or some linebackers that play running back or running backs that play linebacker. You have to be open-minded when you go into that league because you can possibly play anywhere.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
My name is I'm just underscore Tez. I'm just Tez, man. I'm just me.
Thank you again, Martez Carter, for your interview, and best luck in your future with the Frisco Fighters in
I
India.
sure appreciate it.
You
Appreciate it, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Martez Carter, for your interview, and best luck in your future.
I appreciate it, Brandon. You have a good day, man. Thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.